Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is MrYorkiesWorld. Welcome back to the channel, and I do apologise for the time that it's taken for this video to be uploaded. However, I have had an enormous amount of things going on in my life, as always. I also apologise about the lack of quality of this video. This is actually a 720p video, believe it or not. I completely forgot when I was recording OBS, because I've been streaming, I forgot to set the recording resolution to 1080p. But we are on the ground at the moment, nevertheless, at LOWI or Innsbruck, with the British Airways 2691 headed for Gatwick. It's supposed to be an A319. This was the failed flight that I previously did, that you saw the footage of. We're going to try it again. Hopefully things will work this time. I've recently... Whoa, I don't know what the hell's happening there with the air chef truck. Just gone straight through the baggage, but anyway. Yes, I've been doing some streaming as well, so my settings have been a little bit messed up. I now do Twitch streams over at twitch.tv/itsMrYorkiesWorld. So that's essentially what the delay's been all about. I do apologise about that. But nevertheless, we're going to try today and make this flight actually work the best we can. I've got a funny feeling that 1001 things are going to go wrong. I don't even know what the hell's going on with my EasyDock settings. I'm going to have to set those properly. That's one floor already. There we go, that should work. Right. There we go. So everything's going wrong. The sim is broken for some reason as of late. Doesn't seem to want to do its job and work for me, but there we go. Lovely Innsbruck. I do apologise again about the lack of the A319, which is supposed to be the aircraft used in this flight for Speedbird 2691, but I don't actually have that aircraft. I don't have the Airbuses yet. Nevertheless, FS actions, and we can go to fuel. We're going to be taking a total today of £14,966 worth of fuel, so put that in. There we are. We can switch on the fuel pumps now. We could also set the ISO valve to auto, start the APU, and we can configure the lights later on. I'll do a wheel well light. I'll switch that on just in case we're doing like the walk around or something. We're not, but there we go. And nevertheless, so we can go ahead and request clearance from Pro ATCX. I will just minimise this window down a little bit. There we go.
Speedbird 2691 with the 80's request clearance. Speedbird 2691, Roger, departing runway 08, cleared at
08, so that's 079 on the heading.
Departure from that path file, climb and maintain fix. Expect flight level 320 within 10 minutes after departure. Departure frequency 118.4, squawk 377.
And it's 6,000 on the initial altitude as well, so we'll put that in just a second.
Tango 5, Juliet, climb to 6,000. Expect flight level 320 within 10 minutes after departure.
Stick it in there. Auto brake's already been set to RTO, that's fine, that's no problem. What else do we need to do? So, we can clear that warning for now. We're not really bothered about that, to be honest. We can go up and arm the emergency lights. We can switch on the seatbelt signs, I think, because it's about time. We might as well just do it. What else? IRSs, they need to be on nav. Preferably before we do the FMC. 320 on the cruise pressurization today. And we can go ahead and go to the FMC. We've got the AirAC 1804 today, all up to date. We're at LOWI, or LOWI, Lima Oscar Whiskey India. We don't know why the gate won't work. We're actually at gate number 3, it doesn't seem to work. So what we'll do is we'll just go ahead and open the doors for GSX, or close the doors for GSX, and then we can sort out the position. So we're not going to put the gate number in, we're just going to go straight ahead and grab the GPSL position, just as it asks us to do so there. Stick it in there. We can also press B and sort out the altimeter the cheater's way. Route. We've got a predefined route, it's LOWI to EGKK. And we're going to be using runway 08 for departure, so we can put that into the FMC. The flight number today is Speedbird 2691 or BAW2691. Activate that and execute it. And we can head over to the per minute page with our zero fuel weight being 121.8. Our reserves today being 2.9 tonnes. and our cost index is going to be 28. Now the cruise altitude again is 320 for this flight today, and the transition altitude, I need to swap that over because I need to find out what it is for Innsbruck. So Avlosoft EFB, fantastic little piece of software. We can go ahead. I don't actually know where to go for it. LOWI-EGKK, the progress page. It's not going to be any of these. Airport information. No, that's just popped up on my other screen. That doesn't appear to be showing me. Modules. System. I can't find it actually. Route setup. No, I think it's on the progress page, and then there's like the little 3 dots or 4 dots somewhere. There we go. Drag it down. And as you can see, it shows you the name of the airport, the ICAO and everything, the elevation and the location and stuff. And the transition altitude is 11,000 or 1,000. So stick that in there. N1 limit, we're going to use a 24k D rate because I never really use any other. With flaps 5, we can go ahead and get some weather information now. Current active weather is variable at 4 knots. So what I will do is I'll head over to EFB and just find out some exact figures. So 168 at 4 is what I'm being told by EFB, so we'll sort that out. Close all that, and we can put the 168 at 4 knots into the wind, and then we can calculate our V speeds. So V2 is 144 knots. We can stick that into the good old speed hold selector, arm the auto throttle. That's about it in terms of the takeoff ref page and everything. We can go ahead and put the SID in, which is KPT 5 Juliet from runway 08. So KPT 5 Juliet, there it is. Execute that. Just going to check to make sure there's no discontinuities as a result of that, which there doesn't appear to be. That's all fine. Right. Okay. So that is the FMC basically set up now. I am literally just going to check a few figures on my second screen, so I do apologise about the notorious sound loss every time I hover over my second screen here. We can set the transponder to XPDR with a quick test as well. Hopefully everything will pass. There should be no reason why not. Engine page up as well, and it's passed. Fantastic. Right, okay, yaw damper on, window heat switches on. So, LNAV and VNAV can be armed. Everything else is set up, the auto brake is set to RTO. Nothing needs doing with that. So, we can go ahead and request boarding now. We might as well transfer the APU power. And apart from that, I think we're almost sorted, basically. So, we will let the passengers board the aircraft, and I will catch up with you guys in just about 2 or 3 minutes. For you, it will be instant, but for me, it will be about 2 or 3 minutes. Okay, guys, so the passengers have been successfully boarded. We are literally going to go ahead and switch on the hydraulic pumps now, with the anti-collision light as well. Get ourselves out of here as fast as we possibly can. We can request pushback and departure. We're going to do a straight pushback with a manual stop. And of course we'll have to go ahead and request that from Pro ATCX as well.
V4.2 request startup and pushback. V4.2 startup and pushback approved.
That's all been approved, fantastic, so we can go ahead and request pushback, remove the ground connections. Parking brake's already on, so that's fine for GSX. We need to close some doors, because otherwise we're going to end up having a catastrophe of a takeoff. They're all closing, that's fine. Looking good. So back into the FMC onto the legs page with the second FMC, and I think I will go ahead and put on the takeoff ref page on the first FMC.
Lock in the gear.
Look at that view, absolutely gorgeous, isn't it? Gotta love good old Innsbruck by Orbex, absolutely fantastic. We've got some nice weather as well, hardly any clouds in the sky.
Tank is in position, bypass pin is inserted. Aprons now clear, ready to push. Now release parking brakes please.
Brakes released.
Behind, commencing push.
And engine number 2.
Engines clear, start at your discretion.
There we go. Gonna give it a few seconds and then we can release some fuel to get engine number 2 fully started. I'll let you listen to that. And I think we'll stop the pushback just about here in just a second. Don't want to go too far. That's engine number 2 fully started anyway, so we can go ahead and start engine number 1 now. Release some fuel in just a few seconds. Parking brake set. And there is engine number 1 spooling up. The gorgeous sound of the 737-800 engines, I love it. Got to admit, at the moment, the 777 is my favourite aircraft, purely and simply because the NGX doesn't appear to have a fix for the problem with the sound. So if you've got 2 screens like me, and you try going to your second screen while you're in the sim, the audio from the actual aircraft will completely just turn off or go or like mute or something. And it is selected in all of the options for it not to do that, including in the FMC options on the PMDG. But it still does it. According to PMDG, it's something that they're not intending to do anything about. Anyway, transferring the power now. Left and right packs. The APU bleed can come off, and of course we can go ahead and switch off the APU itself.
Left is clear, right is clear.
Engines to continuous. And we might as well set the runway turn-offs and the taxi on as well. Right, so we can request the taxi to the runway.
Grant, Speedbird 2691, request taxi.
Speedbird 2691, taxi via Alpha to runway 08.
Via Alpha to runway 08. Speedbird 2.
So that's nice and easy. Alpha is the only taxiway that we can really use from this terminal, so that's fine. We need to make a 90-degree turn here just to be on the taxiway, but that's fine. We pushed back just the right amount, I think. We possibly could have gone a little bit further, but I didn't want to risk it. There we are, we're alright. We're managing. What I will do, when we get straightened up here as well, I'm going to go ahead and turn off the easy dock effects, because I do not like the effects that it causes. I'm also putting the flaps out because I forgot to do that, and I'll also need to do the trim in a second. Not very often I forget to do stuff like that. It has been a while since I've done a proper video though. I've been doing other stuff in the meantime, so do apologise. Nevertheless, we will get to the runway and see if we can get taken off. Okay, so we're just holding short of the runway now. Just been cleared to enter the runway, and of course we've got the landing lights on, the strobe lights are on, everything else is on as it should be. I'm just going to do one final check. There is going to be no traffic, although we do have UTL, Ultimate Traffic Live, but I know for a fact there's going to be no traffic. I'm looking at EFB and it shows me the ground and air traffic. It's a fantastic piece of kit. Keep going on about it, but it really is a fantastic piece of kit. So as ever, the Innsbruck runway is a bit of a difficult one. It's quite a short runway, and of course we have to go all the way down. We don't have a taxiway that goes all the way down to the runway, like the end of the runway. So we have to taxi down the runway and then come back on ourselves at the bottom. There it is. Runway 08 is confirmed. So we just have to use this little sort of lay-by bit here. I forget what they call it. I don't know, but yeah, so we have to basically turn around here, come back on ourselves. Makes me wonder if Innsbruck could ever sort of hold any larger aircraft. I don't know whether there's ever been like a 777 or anything like on this runway. I very strongly doubt it, but then again, there are some very skilled pilots out there. Nevertheless, as you can see, we're coming back on ourselves to line up with runway 08. And we should hear from ATC in just a second. There we go. Clear for takeoff, so we'll set the parking brake. I'm going to spool the engines up to about 40% with the parking brake on. We're then going to set toga with the parking brake on and then release the parking brake to make sure we get the maximum power possible for the takeoff. Here we go. So hopefully this flight won't fail like the other one did. This should have been up a long time ago, this video, but there we go. 80 knots. V1's coming up pretty quickly. V1. And rotate. Nice gentle rotation. We are up, gear up, positive rate. You can see on the EFIS, the track that we're going to be following is basically right back on ourselves, but look at that view. A fantastic view. Orbex never fail to impress with their scenery.
Speedbird 2691. Radar contact. Continue via KBT 5 Juliet departure. Climb.
Autopilot's on now. 120 on the altitude. Hit the intervene as well. Fetch the flaps up in a little minute. Not going to do it straight away. Apologies about the sound loss here, I'm just having a look on EFB. Engines can come back to normal. We can switch off the runway turn-offs. And we might as well switch on the transponder to TA and RA, which is another thing I forgot to do. Look at the mountains though. What an amazing view. I would absolutely love to be on this plane. Like to actually travel to Innsbruck, either in or out of it. I'm assuming if I'm going to come out of it, I have to go in the first place. So, but flaps are up anyway. It would be a massively amazing experience for me. I'm actually due to travel to Greece later this year in September. Crete, to be exact. Looking forward to that. Just going to set the current heading, just for the sake of it. I'm not expecting there to be much in terms of... I mean, look at that. Look at that is a thumbnail, definitely. I'm not expecting there to be much in terms of cinematics once we get out of Innsbruck, because I don't really have any scenery that covers that area from here to Gatwick, apart from FTX England. And obviously we have the... UK 2000 Gatwick scenery as well. Look at that view. Seatbelts to auto now. I just can't get over how amazing of a job that Orbex do on their scenery. Absolutely fantastic. I mean, look at it. So with that, what I think I will do, guys, is I'll leave it here. We're going to basically follow what ATC tells us to do anyway. There's going to be nothing special happening. 220,
2691.
and then eventually we'll be asked to go all the way up to 320. So that's essentially it. I'm going to put some cinematics on for you guys, and I will see you guys once we're ready to configure ourselves for landing, or approach and then landing. But look at that. I will leave you with some gorgeous cinematics. Okay guys, so we are basically, well, about 150 miles away. You can see that we are still at our cruise level of 320. We still need to initiate our descent. However, it's time to program our approach, or arrival. So the arrival is going to be the Timber 1 Juliet arrival for runway 26 left. So if we go on to ILS 26 left, Timber 1 Juliet, there we go, and we're using the Timber transition as well. We're going to ignore the warning about unable 250 knots at that particular waypoint, that's fine. The rest of it looks fine, we've got no discontinuities, so we are basically ready now to continue our approach into EGKK. You can see, if I show it on the plan screen, this is going to be the approach. It's going to be a very basic one. Not too much messing about. Straight in to runway 26 left. There we go. You can see the ILS feathers there. And that is basically it. So the next step now is to configure ourselves for landing. You can see that we're just about approaching the 150 mile radius mark. So what we really need to do now is bring up EFB and get our minimums altitude, which I'm just going to do that on the second screen. If I can find it. So the only thing about EFB, it's a fantastic piece of kit, but it's it can be difficult to use. Right, here we go. So, as you can see, if we go onto the approach, we select which approach we're going to be using. So, 26 left, ILS runway 26 left, the Timber Southeast approach. You can see that it gives us a 395 as our decision height. And that's really helpful. It gives you, there it is, it gives you everything that you need to know. It shows you the approach plates and stuff like that. If you're interested in EFB, let me know and I can give you a link to it. It is quite expensive, but it is definitely worth it. Right, because I've not set the transition altitude to 6,000 yet for being in the UK, or the EU, we're going to have to do that separately. Just bear with me a moment. Just putting in the barrow. I think we would probably be be wise using auto brake 2. We don't really need anything else more than that. The wind's not too strong over at Gatwick, so it's fine. Shouldn't have much of an issue slowing down or anything. 110.90 is the frequency for the radios, and we're going to be using 140 at 30. Flaps 30 at 140, should I say. Oops, I'm putting that in the standby in the wrong one. There we go, it needs to be in the nav radio. 110.90. Shall I switch over? In fact, yeah, what I'm going to do is I'll switch over to that. We'll continue our approach, and I'll see you guys a little bit later on when we get closer to Gatwick. Okay guys, so as you can see, we are now descending to 2,000 feet. We're approaching Gatwick after about an hour and 55 minutes. I forgot to tell you about the information about the flight. The flight time was about 1 hour and 55 minutes for this particular flight. Do apologise about these mistakes. However, my life is absolutely upside down at the moment. There's 1,001 things going on. I'm working on a few projects as well for sort of like my own selection of content for P3D. So, not going to say anything just yet about it. But nevertheless, you can see that we are very quickly approaching the ILS feathers for runway 26 left now. We need to slow down a little bit. We need to descend a little faster. We had a little bit of turbulence earlier. We had to employ the speed brakes and some flaps.
Maintain present altitude.
Present altitude, Emirates 16.
I'm going to go to flaps 5 now. We are well within the yellow line there, the yellow tape, so that's fine. The speed brake is armed. We've obviously got the auto brake set to number 2. The gear's not down yet. We are approaching 2,000 feet. 2,500.
4455 identified. Descend
So far so good. We've not had any crashes from good old EasyDock or any of the other, like Pro ATCX, similar to what we've had in the past. Things have just decided to go wrong all at once. We've not had any of that this video. Nice wing view there. Here we are coming on 2,000 feet.
look there 4603. Tower on 124.22.
124.22. Lux Air.
We can
403.
go ahead and arm the approach hold in just a second as soon as we get
Tower at the marker. Frequency is
there we go. Start to turn in. We might as well go ahead and activate approach hold now. I'm going to bring back the speed in a moment because we are at 209 knots.
Emirates 16. Climb to 4,000.
Climbing to 4,000.
Looks like we're so close to the ground, but obviously we are indeed 2,000 feet in the air, so perfectly fine. Gear down now. That'll slow us down a little bit.
A211.
And I'm also going to go ahead and work the flaps down as well.
24.22. On upon 211.
Wheel well light can come on. Why not? I did indeed put the logo light on and everything else because the visibility was not very good. We had a bit of fog.
Speed 905. Descend to flight level 16.
We're still going to be using 139 at flaps 30. It was 140 before. We'll go to 140 anyway, just to give it a 1 knot difference.
Tower, Speedbird 2691. And final request landing. Runway 26 left.
Speedbird 2691. Reduced to final approach speed QNH 1016.
So we've been asked to reduce the final approach speed, which we've already started doing anyway, so that's fine.
QNH 1016. Clear to land. Runway 26 left. Speedbird 26.
And we've been clear to land, that's perfect. Let's just see if we can make a decent landing. Hopefully we can. Be the first landing I've done in a few days. In fact, like a week and a half. I've been so obsessed with working on the projects that I've been working on that I've not managed to do much flying for the past week and a half. The nose is pitching up a little bit just while we capture the glide slope, but that's not a problem. I may increase the speed a little bit just to compensate. It does say we can use a 5-knot wind correction. So let's just do that and see if that makes much of a difference.
Hold your position.
Holding our position. Easy. A233.
I mean, we're okay now anyway. We've captured the glide slope, so we can go ahead and take the speed back down to 140 in a second. Can see the runway. Yeah, speed's coming back down to 140. There is an aircraft. Oh my god, there is an aircraft right in front of me, coming towards me. What on earth was that? Let's have a look on EFB. It looks like that was indeed a Ryanair 737-800, so... Don't know why that just happened actually, but there he is. Departing in the same direction that we're landing. Or indeed the opposite direction. In other words, coming straight for us. Not the most ideal situation at all, but nevertheless, we're lined up with the runway, we're looking good. 1,000 feet. Disconnecting. The aircraft is now mine. Let's see if I can't mess this landing up. I'm going to try and keep with the flight director as much as I possibly can. We are a little bit to the right, we need to be more to the left. I may have to employ some rudder in a second. Little tiny bit there. That seems to have helped getting us back on track. Things are looking good at the moment. I'm happy with the way things are looking. We don't need to do a go-around by the looks of it. Unless anything happens in the meantime, such as wind shear or something like that.
Approaching minimums. Minimums.
Continuing. Just trying to get back into the centre line. 100 feet.
50. 30. 20.
And we are down. A little bit of lag there as we touch down, but the reverses are green. Decel. 80 knots.
Speed burn 2691. Exit to the
Manual braking now.
121.8. Speedbird 2691.
And we'll take the rapid exit here to the right, as per ATC. So that was fun, that was really fun. We managed to get down in one piece. The landing wasn't too bad. Despite the wind blowing us all over the place, we still managed to be near enough dead on in the centre. We can disconnect the auto brake there. Flaps are on the way up. And what I'll do is I'll come to a stop up here, just about halfway up here. Stick the parking brake on, and then we can configure the aircraft ready to taxi to the gate. So here we go. Right. Flaps are all the way up, that's fine. VORs, data and traffic and all of that can come off. The flight directors can come off as well. Auto brake's already off. Engines to normal. Wheel well light off, wing light off, logo light off. Everything else, taxi lights on. Strobes to steady. Start the APU. Probe heats off. And we shall request taxi to the gate.
Grant. Speedbird 2691 is cleared of the runway. Request taxi to parking.
Speedbird 2691 via Echo Delta Quebec to Terminal 1 Gate 57.
Via Echo Delta Quebec to Terminal 1 Gate 57. Speedbird 2691.
Terminal 1 Gate 57. Okay, so it turns out that there isn't a Terminal 1 Gate 57, so we have to get a follow me car just to take us to Gate 104 instead. Pro ATCX does sometimes get the coordinates, if you will, or the names of the gates and numbers and stuff wrong, so unfortunately that's happened on this occasion. We can switch off the lights there so we don't blind anybody. And here is our stand, gate 104. I have no idea why the tow truck is parked there. That means that we're not going to be able to go all the way to the end. We're going to have to stop just before, which is a bit of a problem. Nice and gently does it. Don't want to go straight through the wall. Let's have a look outside. I think I'm literally just going to stop about there. There's nothing else I can do. I would like to go further forward, but hey-ho. Connecting the jetway. Probably shouldn't do that until the engines are switched off, but who cares? We can transfer the power before we turn the engines off. Now we can cut the fuel. We can switch off the seatbelt signs and the chime. Hydraulics can come off. Fuel pumps off. APU bleed on, I suppose. Right. And for now at least, we can go ahead and request deboarding. But for now at least, that is it. Welcome everybody to London Gatwick. The failed flight has finally not failed. We managed to get here in the end. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Again, if you want to check out my Twitch videos, I do gaming videos on there now. I'm going to be doing them regular. Twitch.tv/itsMrYorkiesWorld. And again, thanks very much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.